Okay, open up the CD tray, put in your Windows CD, and then you'll have to reset again so that it can restart and go through the drives and find the CD-ROM. Okay, so popping in the CD now. Give it just a little bit of time just to settle. Hit the reset button. And here we go. It should now boot. It's checked the floppy, there's nothing in there. It's detecting IDE drives. Boot from CD. You can see down the bottom there with the flashing cursor. Ooh, here we go. I can hear the CD working. Ah, yes. Lovely. Now the thing is, will we be able to film this? It says Windows Setup. Can't really see that very well, can you? Oh yeah, Windows Setup. Now if you look down at the bottom, I don't know if I'll be able to focus on this, but yeah, down the bottom it says Setup is loading files. Okay, now this is a leftover remnant from the old NT4 setup. If you ever did servers and work machines using the old Windows NT, Windows XP is based on the Windows NT Core, which is an operating system that Microsoft actually bought in from another company. So that's probably why XP works so well, because they didn't design it, the core anyway. No doubt they've modified things, but essentially it was a bought-in product. And you can see down at the bottom, Setup is loading files. Just try and zoom in a bit more on that. There we go. Setup is loading files, and it's going through all the list of files that it's copying off the CD. Now it says Setup is starting Windows. Okay, so it'll go through and load all the files that it needs into a bit of disk space that it prepares, and then after that we come to the first page. It resets itself, and we come to this page. There we go. Welcome to Setup. This portion of the setup program prepares Microsoft Windows XP to run on your computer. To set up Windows now, press Enter. To repair a Windows XP installation using Recovery Console, press R. To quit setup, press F3. Okay, so we're going to obviously set up. So let me just position the camera back. A bit too far there. Okay, so let's go for it. Press Enter. Please wait, it says down at the bottom. Now comes your license agreement, of course. You have to say that you agree to that, otherwise the whole thing just goes bye-bye, you can't install. To agree, press the F8 key on your keyboard. Right, now the setup shows you the hard disk that's on your machine. Okay, there is one hard drive. Its actual size is 78160 megabytes. They round it off. When they call it an 80 gigabyte disk, it's actually not exactly 80 gigabytes. And currently it's listed there as unpartitioned space. If you look right there, yeah, unpartitioned space. Okay, fair, that's exactly what you should see. And it'll say the size of whatever drive you bought, yeah. Okay, now, first we're going to do a partition. Now this is a music-only machine, so what we're going to do is this is not a user who's going to have tons and tons of programs on there, okay? He's just going to have his music software and that's it. He's not even on the internet as far as I know, so you know, he's not going to have like Photoshop and Illustrator. He's not a graphics designer, he's not using all these other programs, Flash, Macromedia products or anything else, just the music stuff. So what I normally do is, what most people do, and this is the standard kind of procedure, is you have a smaller partition which is enough for all your programs that you anticipate adding, okay? And 10 gigabytes or 12 gigabytes is plenty to put 2 or 3 sequences on, tons of VST effects and instruments, and you'll still have plenty of space left over. So I think, play on the safe side, I'll make this partition 12 gigabytes, yeah? Okay, so to do that, if you look down at the bottom, whoops, it says Enter Install, which means it will just install in that raw space, and it would use the entire 78 gigabytes as just one big drive. But it will have to do that, it would have to format the drive using NTFS, the NT file system, yeah? I don't want to do that. I want to partition this drive so that we've got a partition for our programs and a partition for our audio, and keep them separate. That way, if ever Windows has to be reinstalled, you just have to reinstall the C partition, which has Windows and the programs on, and you don't have to redo, you know, all your music that you've saved on the other partitions that we're going to create. Our audio partition or partitions will be left alone, you know, and you can reinstall Windows as many times as you like, and all your music will be safe. All you'd be doing is reinstalling the programs or reinstalling Windows and the programs or whatever. So, to create a partition, you hit C. There we go. And it tells you that the minimum size for your partition is 8 megabytes and the maximum size is the entire size of the drive, and it prompts you to type in a size just there. Okay. Now 78152 is 78.152 gigabytes. So to do 12 gigabytes, you backspace that and type in 12000. Okay. Okay. Press enter. And there's our partition. Okay. One partition there, and it says partition, new, raw, hasn't been formatted or anything. That's its size. 12,000 megabytes, 12 gigabytes is free, completely free, and underneath we have 66 gigabytes remaining. Okay. So let's just scroll out, zoom out. Okay, so now that we've done that, at the bottom it's prompted. Now we've made that partition, don't worry about the rest of the drive, we can partition that once we've installed Windows, because Windows XP has an excellent disk management section. So down the bottom there it says enter to install, D to delete the partition, and F3 to quit. Okay, so if you want, so you choose the partition that you want to install to. If you had created more than one partition, or the drive already had more than one partition, you could choose which partition to install Windows to. But in this case, we have only the one partition that we've just created, and that's where we're going to install Windows. Okay, so here we go. I will press enter to install. Now, next it's asking you, how do you want to format that partition? There we go, look. Format the partition using the NTFS file system, quick, or format you've got a quick option which just quickly formats it. Yeah. Format the partition using FAT file system, quick, or the same again but not the quick version. Yeah. So it's okay to go for the quick. So I'm going to choose this one. Format the partition using the FAT file system, quick. Okay. Press enter. Because this partition is larger than 2048 megabytes, setup will format it with a FAT32. That's a leftover bit of stuff from the old days when you had smaller disks, and if you want to find out about that, look it up in Google. But basically it's to do with the maximum size that a FAT or FAT16 file system can be installed onto. You can't install it on a disk larger than 2 gig. Just over 2 gig, okay, due to the way that it's structured. So it'll use FAT32 to install. That's exactly what we want. Fine. To continue the format, press enter. Okay. And now you can see down the bottom, Windows is formatting the drive. We chose the quick version. You can see it's pretty quick. Look. There you go. Right. It's done the format. It's now examining the disk that you've formatted to make sure it's all alright. You can hear the CD-ROM flying like crazy there. And now we're in setup. Please wait while please wait while setup copies files to the Windows installation folders. This might take several minutes to complete. And down on the bottom right there, you can see the files that it's copying. Look, copying. That's all the files it could potentially need for setting up. Windows copies those into some temporary drive space, and then it uses that to set up. Okay, right, so we'll just let this run I'll edit this bit out so that we move quickly to the next bit. Okay, please wait while setup continues. Now, it's copied the files and it's asking to restart. If you want to restart it manually, it's going to restart itself, but if you hit enter, it will be restarted. But I'll let it do it itself. So it's rebooting. Here we go. Whoop. Okay, it's copied the files. Now it's going to reboot and continue with the setup.